My name is Tene Sommer, and this is Marbella Life. My next guest for my podcast is the lovely Millie, my amazing Pilates teacher who started her life in Marbella working in the nightlife industry to now running her own Pilates studio and company Pocket Pilates in Puerto Banús. Not only will she share her best beauty and fitness tips and of course what she eats to maintain her abs, but she's also speaking openly about her past struggles with an eating disorder. Trust me, you will not want to miss this episode. Enjoy!
We're going to inhale as we open. Exhale, press down with the left arm to your face, nice and simple. Exhale, up, 7. Slowly down, nice. Good form, everybody. Squeeze your glutes at the top, 6. Keep it going. I liked yoga, but I couldn't see myself as a yoga teacher. I liked fitness, but I couldn't imagine myself in the gym. And Pilates just seemed to be like this awesome middle ground. So I gambled. I'd done one Pilates class in my life.
Oh my.
And then I started to feel like a hypocrite because I was saying in class, listen to your body, connect in. And I was starting to have cravings. When I was between 17 and 19, I suffered with anorexia. And it was a really hard time for me. And I got down to tiny, literally 5 stone 13,
I don't know what
which is
kilograms.
about 37 kilograms. For me, at one point, especially when I was in the nightclub scene, I got very insecure, and I started wanting to change everything about myself. But then when I got into the wellness world, I kind of, thankfully, luckily, didn't get completely sucked into that element.
So if people want to look as good as you do you think they should just do Pilates, or what is your secret to looking fit and
thank
healthy?
you so much. That's so kind.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hi Millie, how are you today?
I'm good. Thank you very much. It's Sunday. It's beautiful. So yeah, all good. And you?
Yeah, I'm really good. I'm really excited to have you.
Yeah.
Because you're such a busy girl and you can never, sit down with you. So I'm really excited to talk to you about stuff that I've always wanted to ask you.
And I'm grateful to be here. So yeah.
Amazing.
Exciting.
Let's start by just telling my viewers a little bit about you. Like, where do you come from? A little bit about your background and stuff that you've done.
Okay. So, I'm from England, from a town called Macclesfield in Cheshire in the northwest. Haven't got much of an accent, maybe a little bit. So I grew up there, and then I went to university in Cardiff in Wales, and I actually studied journalism. I did a degree in journalism.
You should be here.
Yeah. Well, I worked super hard. I was such a nerd in uni. I worked really hard and I got a first, right? But then since then, I've never even had one person ask me if I have a degree, let alone what I got in it. But that was,
Those were the times you just went to university, I think. Those were the times, you just went to university without kind of even thinking.
I had no idea what I wanted to do. So I just, I decided to do something quite general. But I'm glad that I did that because that's where I met my partner. So I'm engaged now. I've been with him for 11 years, quite a long time. And then one thing led to another, ended up being in Marbella. And now I teach Pilates and I have the studio. So it's been a bit of a journey.
Yeah, this is a great journey because you've ended up in paradise from the cold England.
It's true.
So how has your relationship been with fitness and health, and how did you get into Pilates? And what did you do first in Marbella? Did you come here to teach?
No, I came here with a different job. I actually used to work for Kiss FM, the radio station, and I used to work selling all the beds and the tables and the tickets in the, promo. So many people come over here in the events and promo industry. And so, I came over and actually worked with my partner. So I worked in Plaza Beach and Aquamist. Do you remember?
Yes,
Aquamist,
the nightclub.
for a few years. And even though I was good at it,
Mm-hmm.
it was, it was good money. It was never a job that I was doing because I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
It was I just kind of fell into it. And I did it for a while, and I quickly realized, okay, I need to make a big change.
Mm-hmm.
This is not how I wanted to see my future. And, even though I was good at it, it wasn't good for my soul. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
love it. So I remember going back after one of the summers and being like, I literally sat there on my laptop,
Mm-hmm.
like Googling courses.
Mm-hmm.
There was options between being a health coach
Mm-hmm.
or being a Pilates instructor. And by this point, I'd only ever done
Mm-hmm.
one Pilates class in my life.
That's crazy.
And I was on the phone to my friend and I
Mm-hmm.
was like, okay, so I'm going to have to make a gamble. I need a big
Mm-hmm.
change in my life. I want to live abroad. I kind of want to work for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Which one do you think I should do?
Oh,
Literally. And
you
she
did
was
flip a
like,
coin and-
I think you should do this one, this
Uh-huh.
Pilates course. And, I love Pilates
Mm-hmm.
in that sense because I like yoga, but I couldn't see
Mm-hmm.
myself as a yoga teacher.
Mm-hmm.
I liked fitness, but I couldn't imagine myself in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
And Pilates just seemed to be like this awesome middle ground.
Mm-hmm.
So I gambled. I'd done
Mhm.
one Pilates class in my life.
Oh my God.
And I paid the deposit. I went to London, did the course. And then I came back to Marbella and I was still working in the nightclub industry while doing my training to become a Pilates teacher. Juggled it for
Mhm.
like a year.
Mhm.
And then I started just posting a little bit on social media, started getting people ask me for, tips and privates. And then it just kind of led from there, but it was never planned. It just kind of one thing happened
Mhm.
and led to the other. So it was really quite, what's the word? Organic in the way that it
Well, you
it
have to thank your
developed.
friend because she, she would have said the other coach.
I know, exactly.
You might not be a Pilates queen.
Exactly.
For the people who don't know Millie, she is really like the Pilates queen of Marbella. I don't think anyone, I know so many people who have come to your classes and including men now.
Yeah.
So
I actually teach so many men, mainly more privately.
Mhm.
Normally the group classes are a lot more women. But actually tomorrow I've got a men's class which is starting. So that's exciting. But yeah, no, I love it. But I think I was one of the first ones to kind of really get into it in this area.
Mhm.
There was a lot of Spanish instructors in the surrounding areas, but I would say I was one of the first here, which was great for me.
Mhm.
And when I started as well, there wasn't many places that did it. And now
Mhm.
it's becoming more and more saturated. There's Pilates centers popping up left, right, and center.
But no one teaches like Millie, really. This, once you go to Millie's class, you'll never go to another Pilates teacher.
Oh, I
again.
don't know about that. You have to
true.
see.
Because you do really, I've been to Pilates before and I didn't have a good taste of it because of the teacher. I thought it was just whatever whatever. I was like, no, that's not for me. And then I came to your class and I was like, okay, this is the Pilates I like, Also because I think you bring so many different factors and different styles and like almost like you've done some yoga lattes.
Yeah.
You do a lot of, meditation, a little bit of mindfulness. You make it like really your own.
Exactly.
You could almost have like, your own kind of Pilates style,
And to be honest, when I did I'm Bassi trained and I absolutely I'm so grateful for their incredible education and that really set me on my way. And I did it very by the book for the first part of my career, which I needed to do. And I was grateful for that. But when I started to kind of trust my instinct and put my own flair and creativity into it, that's when it really boomed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say I'm quite individual in the way that I teach. But every teacher brings their own style, their own flair, their own essence.
Definitely.
You can't say, I don't like yoga, or I like yoga, or I don't like Pilates, I like Pilates, because you could go to one yoga or one Pilates class and hate it.
Yes.
You could go to another one and absolutely love it. Like the disparity in the Pilates world is huge.
It is.
And it's so depending on the teacher, the style, the place. Like one Pilates in one place could mean one thing and a completely different thing to somebody else. So yeah.
So yeah, if you've hated Pilates in the past, try it again. You'll love it. You'll love it. But what do you think are some of the biggest misconceptions about Pilates?
There's a few. One, that it's just stretching.
Mm-hmm.
It's really not just stretching.
Just
People think, a lot of people when they don't know, they think it's just stretching.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. Pilates is about the balance of the musculature, between the strength and the length.
Mm-hmm.
So it's better for your joints. You're less likely to injure yourself, and you just have more balance across the body. People also think that it's the same as yoga, but they are both amazing, but both really, really different. Yoga's a lot more spiritual. Pilates is mind body, but it's not, I wouldn't say it has a spirit to it, but I wouldn't say it's more of a newer practice compared to yoga. Yoga is much more ancient. I would say the mind body comes into Pilates because when you're doing your Pilates, you're in the zone. You should be in what's called a flow state. You shouldn't be thinking about what you're going to have for tea later, what your boyfriend said to you earlier, or any of the other things going on in your mind. Like, you should be super present. So in a way, it's like meditation and movement. So afterwards you feel so much better, not because you've sat there humming, like actually meditating, but because you've just been so immersed in what you're doing for that time.
Definitely.
What else? Also, that it's just for women.
Yeah,
no,
I was going to say, I think, what does the men say? No, this is something that women do, and this is not really masculine, or we don't need it, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely for everyone. And actually, Pilates is by a male, Joseph. And originally it was for training for people in World War II, for the soldiers. So yeah, exactly.
I don't know what happened in between, but now it's coming back again.
Big journey, a big development.
So if people want to look as good as you do you think they should just do Pilates, or what is your secret to looking fit and healthy?
Thank you so much. That's so kind. No, I mean, one thing I would say, if you ever listen to a trainer, say a yoga teacher or a PT or whatever, or a Pilates teacher, and they say, only do yoga, only do Pilates, only go to the gym.
I hope they don't say that.
I would just say BS, because you get benefits from so many different training practices. And honestly, I think cross-training is going to set you up for in the strongest way possible. I think Pilates is incredible. I absolutely adore it. And that is what I do for the majority of my training. But like, it hasn't got everything, you know. I would still say, especially for women, we need to also be lifting weights as well, putting that muscle under a lot of tension. So we get that hypertrophy and we get more muscle in our body, because it's just so integral to, you know, so much health and so much important things from head to toe. But I also think as well, you know, it's important that we have a little bit of cardio in there. Now, I'm not going to lie, I'm not very consistent with my cardio because my life is so busy as it is and I'm always on the go. But I would say doing Pilates, a little bit of cardio, and also getting some kind of weight strength training in there. Well, for me anyway, the combination of those three, maybe some additional yoga from time to time when I want more of like a deep stress to release, also get into the fascia. I would say that's perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
So listen up.
mainly Pilates, but for sure you want to get the weights in. And you also want to do a little bit of cardio for, you know, for your fitness and just for your
for your heart
and longevity. Exactly.
Yeah. And what kind of diet and like health principles do you follow to look fit and keep fit? And have you always been looking that fit? Like, were you naturally like that, or has it been a journey?
Wow, how long do we have?
I don't know. 10 minutes? Go ahead, because I mean, everyone is interested in that.
Naturally, I'm petite. I've always been naturally petite. But, you know, I've been on a big journey. Actually, when I was between 17 and 19, I suffered with anorexia. And it was a really hard time for me. And I got down to like tiny, like literally like 5 stone 13.
I don't know what
which
that is
like
kilograms.
About 37
Oh my God.
kilograms.
And you're tiny now.
Which is tiny. So I had zero muscle, like literally nothing. And it's been a big journey for me even though I'm not big now, I have more muscle on me than I ever have. And I have to work really hard for that muscle. So no, it doesn't come naturally, but I would say naturally I am petite. Yeah.
But how did you get help in that? How did you even realize that you had a problem? Because when you're in that state, you don't even think you have a problem. You always want to lose more weight. And what helped you in that moment? Or how did you distinguish that I need help and I have a problem, or how can I get better?
I think you've hit the nail on the head. You don't often realize you're in that situation. And I would say that I'm really lucky in the sense that I did get into a bad state, but I was lucky when I realized I needed to change. It hadn't gone too far.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Not life-threatening.
No, exactly. I mean, it was bad, but it wasn't to that extreme at that point. And I was in denial for so long. People tried to help me. Friends tried to help me. My school teachers tried to help me. And I was like, I'm fine. Like, I just thought everyone around me was fat.
What a crazy
Which is crazy.
thing,
and I look back now and I was like, what's wrong? That's mental. Because it is a mental issue rather than a physical issue. But, I remember I used to, even though I was tiny, I used to wear these massive jumpers, always hide my body. So people I'd hide it. And I would even kind of hide it from myself, right? And then I remember I was in sixth form and I was doing my dance, I think it was dance A-level or something like that. And I was in a show and they made us wear these tiny little leotards. And I never used to wear anything like that. And I remember looking in the mirror with this leotard on and I looked at myself full body and it was
you realized
a pin just dropped. And from that moment, it was my eyes opened and I looked at myself differently. And I literally was like, what have I done? What am I doing? And even though I got myself into it, I'm very strong-minded. And actually, that's how I got into it. But in that same mindset, I managed to get myself out of it. Yeah. So then from that point, when that penny dropped and when I wanted to help myself, because you have to want it yourself. You have to make the change yourself. As much as other people try and help you, until you have that realization yourself, it's very hard to change. So from then on, it's just been this huge, ginormous journey to where I am today. But yeah, for a very long time, I was obsessed with being thin, terrified of having body fat. I would live off sugar and low calories and counting and all of that rubbish. And then over time, it changed from weight loss to a journey of being into wellness. Do you know what I mean? And that's, so now I said from that point, I'm never going to count a calorie in my life. And from that point, I've never looked at calories ever again. And I never will. And I think I know-ish about what I weigh now, but after that point, I threw out the scales and now I don't care what I wear.
With weight.
No, not at all. Weight for me is just, it's such an unreliable indicator to health and wellness anyway. I just don't think anybody should be stressing themselves out about calories or actually what the scales say. I think there's so many other amazing ways to kind of monitor your progress and to track,
So how do you track and monitor your progress? What is when do you feel okay, now I'm at this level where I'm feeling super healthy and, I'm happy with my body? And
so muscle mass, that's a big one. Also just the way that I feel, my energy,
And how you sleep.
How I sleep, my skin. Yeah.
Well, your skin looks good.
Thank you. I've been on a very big skin journey, and I'm at the point now where I'm very happy. Still on that journey, of course, but no, 10 times better than it used to be. That's for sure.
Yeah. But what do you eat then? How was then coming out of anorexia? How did you start finding what is the healthiest way to eat? What is the best thing to eat?
Yeah.
Because that's also a tricky question nowadays. What is the healthiest diet?
It can be a minefield, and there's such mixed information. Exactly. And I think, well, my 20s really was just working all of this out. I've gone and done every fad, gone through every phase, but I look back now and I shake my head, but I had to go through all of those phases to get to where I am now, and to also learn to basically, I've had to go on a big circle, go through all of these random phases to simply go back and take the advice my grandma gave me of everything in moderation, and I should have listened to that 10 years ago, but I needed to go through all this myself to learn to be where I am today. Because I remember after recovering from the anorexia, it was all very much about still calorie counting, not eating fat. The idea of eating a cheesy pizza was like my nightmare, and I was basically just living off, vegetables and fruit and yogurt and sugar and cereal, nothing nutrient dense, not enough protein, not enough healthy fats. And then it slowly changed. And then I kind of got really, like most of people, right, that I know, got kind of sucked into the propaganda of veganism. And I've always loved animals, and I care about the environment. So of course, I'm not surprised I got completely sucked into that. So I actually went vegan, and I think I was vegan for almost 3 years. And this was also the time where I was starting to train loads more. I was building my business. So I went vegan. I was building my business, which is obviously high stress. And I was training a lot more. But by this point, I hadn't learned the balance with training. So I went from 0 to 100, like a lot of people do. And as I say to my clients now, the one thing that body hates is huge changes, going from 0 to 100. But most of us live in that 0 to 100 mentality, that all or nothing, right? So obviously with all the exercise, the vegan diet, and also the high stress, I came into issues, hormone issues, skin issues, gut issues, fatigue issues, like all of the issues. And, but the thing was, I was posting on Instagram about being vegan, this and that. And I kind of created an identity around it, and I'd labeled myself as this. And then
so people look up to you. And
I was known for this, right? And then after a time, I started to have issues and symptoms. And then I started to feel like a hypocrite because I was saying in class, listen to your body, connect in. And I was starting to have cravings, for a scrambled egg and just all this other stuff. And I was forcing myself to eat this ginormous salad, right? When really what I wanted was I don't know, eggs on toast or a burger or whatever it would be. So then I kind of brought back in eggs, and then I brought back in fish, and I started to feel better and things started to improve. And then, I really just made a decision, and I said, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. I can't stick to this diet because of being stubborn. I really need to practice what I preach and connect in, which is what I did. And I ended up kind of bringing everything back. So now I eat meat again. I eat fish. I eat eggs. I do eat dairy. So I have so much more food freedom, which, coming from a restrictive place in the past with the anorexia, is a really empowering place to be in. But I would say I'm still very particular. I do care a lot about sustainability, about quality, about where you get your food from. I think you vote with your purchases. Like I will not ever eat at McDonald's or a fast food joint, not because it's unhealthy, but because I know where that produce comes from, and I'm supporting the deforestation in the Amazon, or like, you know, really bad factory farming. So I do eat meat, and I actually, you know, these days I love a grass-fed steak and burger, and I really think that's helped me to be a lot healthier. But you know, I get it from the Gazillion Butchers or Finca Jimenez counter in El Corte Inglés. Like I really try and get the quality. I try and buy organic where I can, but also don't get obsessed about it. I try to eat gluten-free, but now and again, if there's a gorgeous, beautiful cake or piece of brownie, I'm going to eat it and I'm going to enjoy it, because I think there's this fine line of being health conscious, but then becoming obsessive. Yeah. And after my previous history of becoming obsessive, that's the last thing I want to do. And I really don't want to go from recovering from anorexia and then going into orthorexia, which for today is becoming an issue where people are just obsessed and too controlling. So yeah.
It's difficult. It's difficult because, like you say, you know, you want to be gluten-free, but then some of the gluten-free products might even be 10 times worse
100%.
Than the homemade sourdough bread.
100%.
You know, I think it's also finding the best quality, homemade, just avoid processed food.
Exactly.
You know, in the end, it's okay, like you said, to have the meat, but get it from the best source.
And you know, they've got that new program at the moment, What the Health?
Yes.
No, it's not What the Health. That was the old one.
That was
what you are, what you eat. Yeah.
Yeah.
And even though there are good points to it, there's also so much BS in it as well. And the thing is, they're saying they're not saying it exactly, but what they are trying to say is, you know, meat bad, plants good. But all of what they're showing actually is the difference between processed and natural whole foods. And I think that's the main thing.
Yeah.
You know, trying to just eat as naturally and as many whole foods as possible and reducing the amount of artificial and processed stuff.
Totally. I think finding the balance is the key. Yeah. So that means you also drink alcohol.
I do.
You see?
I'm not a big drinker.
And still have a cocktail. But I think that's about balance. You know, you don't have cocktails every day, do you?
No.
You know?
I'm not a big drinker. Mainly because I'm such a lightweight. I'll have one drink and I'll be pretty tipsy. But you know, I love a margarita. My favorite, classic margarita with a little bit of chili, kind of salt on the side. I think it's the best. Also, you know, some of my best memories have been when I'm on a beach with a fresh coconut and rum. You know, I absolutely love that. But no, I don't have alcohol a lot, but when I do, I really enjoy it. And I would say if I'm going out with the girls, I'll probably have 3 drinks, maximum 4. But that's purely because I can't
handle more. Yeah, you're tiny. Yeah. You're not going to remember the whole weekend. This episode is brought to you by Besaya Beach and Tikitano by Besaya. Visit my website to find out more about these beautiful restaurants.
Exactly.
Let's talk more about Marbella and the lifestyle here. How did you end up in Marbella? What made you choose Marbella
you know
as your destination?
I didn't try and choose it. I didn't actually choose it, if that makes sense. As I said, I used to work for Kiss FM and I used to work within the kind of nightclub scene and the promo scene. And my old boss at the time offered us an opportunity to come and work over here for a couple of summers. And I actually wanted to move to Australia.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
that was my plan.
Away from there.
That was my plan. Like, I literally wanted to go to Australia. And my partner was like, "Ooh, that's a bit far." So this opportunity for coming to Marbella and being in Spain seemed to be like a good middle ground. So I came over here with the mindset, okay, 1 or 2 summers, get the experience, and then go to Australia. And before coming here, I had no idea what Marbella was, where it was, anything about it. But I loved it. And I just fell in love with it. And I felt so much better, even though I was going through the whole diet issue and building the business and just the weather here, the microclimate, and also the more relaxed vibe. It was amazing for me, really medicine, because I come from England, right? The mentality there is Monday to Friday, work. If you're not working, or grafting or grinding, you're doing something wrong and you should feel guilty. Whereas here, it doesn't matter if it's Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. You go down the beach side and people are drinking wine on the side, and that's amazing. You know, I think it's more relaxed. People enjoy themselves more. They don't overwork themselves into the ground, and I think it's so much more sustainable for longevity and true wellness. And I think I needed that because I'm such a motivated, natural overworker. I mean, I'm still an overworker now, but being here helps me to slow down.
I think I was going to say this could be dangerous for some people who are not so self-disciplined. Then you can start drinking wine every day because you think like that's what everyone is doing. But you got to stay focused. So you have that natural discipline. You know, so for you it works.
It works.
But you see a lot of people who come here and get lost in that sense as well. But your life has clearly changed from working from nightlife to now working in fitness life and health life. How is that life
so
different?
Much better.
And,
I mean, you can't even compare it. I mean, obviously
and you
it was
see
a very long
side of Marbella as well. That's like, you love that side of Marbella. Obviously you loved it, but then there's a whole different side of Marbella that you see probably now with your healthy lifestyle.
I still see both sides because, I mean, it was a very long time I was doing that. I think I've been more in the healthier wellness kind of life for around 6 years now. But my partner, he's an events organizer, runs festivals, club nights, dance events, this type of thing. And he's still involved in that here. So I still see both sides to it. And that's one thing about Marbella is like, you can live here and be like me. And if you want, not see any of that stuff, you know, but then you can also come out here and get complete and like live the most unhealthiest party lifestyle ever. Like it's quite yin and yang, black and white. Extreme. You could get, exactly. I think for some people who don't have much self-discipline and kind of like that party lifestyle, it can be quite a dangerous place. But it has the best of both worlds.
Yes.
So,
and if you manage and learn how to do both, I think balance is just the key to everything, isn't it? With eating,
right?
with living in Marbella, find your balance,
but much better.
Lifestyle.
I mean, I remember working on the door of the nightclubs like until 5, 6 a.m. Just like it sat there like a wilting flower. Just it was awful.
Wow.
So much better.
Yeah. So
better.
What are your favorite places now in Marbella? Where do you go? Like restaurant wise, or where do you go out for a drink? What are your favorite places? Just to name a few.
So I'm more of I do go out for dinner, but I'm more of a brunch and a lunch kind of person. So I'd much rather go for breakfast. So I love places like Manuka, especially in Marbella. Paisana, quality's great. Also Ground, downstairs at Breathe, also Organic on the Golden Mile.
All the healthy places.
All the healthy places.
Yeah, and you'll find more of her, Vinley's favorite places in my blog. So she's not going to list them all. You have to go to my blog and she will have all of her favorite places and maybe favorite, like secret places that she goes as well on her free time.
Actually Darren's place, Hustle and Flow. But if Darren's listening, he needs to bring back the matcha green waffles. Because I was obsessed with them. Now they're off the menu. So Darren, you got to bring them back.
The best brunch is really there. It's really good. And I also want to talk about the beauty standards and the whole plastic fantastic like revolution that's going on really strongly in Marbella and obviously on social media as well. How do you feel about that?
I mean, that's been another massive journey, especially going from living in the UK to here. I mean, as soon as I came here, I felt the difference. And I think it's coming over here, you can go, okay, I need to up my game, right? Because you do walk around and you're like, wow.
everyone's beautiful.
Barbie and Ken.
You know, and it's an affluent place. It's an affluent place. People have the money here to do all of these things. But again, I also don't think it's as bad as maybe the stereotype it's given. You know, for me, at one point, especially when I was in the nightclub scene, I got very insecure, and I started wanting to change everything about myself. But then when I got into the wellness world, I kind of, thankfully, luckily, didn't get completely sucked into that. And, you know, for example, I used to absolutely hate my nose. Really? And I'd have never been on a camera profile view. I was so insecure about my nose. You know, everyone else had these like little teeny ones that kind of went in, and mine was a bit bigger and longer and whatever. And, you know, I was debating maybe I get a nose job. Actually, one of my really good friends had one, which made me think, okay, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm so glad that I didn't, because I've learned to accept things about myself, which maybe weren't my favorite attributes. And I've learned to love myself anyway. You know,
you're beautiful.
And I think that's really important. I think a lot of people need to accept, maybe not every feature is going to be their favorite thing. You know, everybody has something, but just try and accept it and love yourself anyway. But I'm not saying I'm against any of that stuff. Of course not. Like, you know, especially if it's something to freshen your skin up or something to help you with your confidence. Like, I had my boobs done when I was 19, as young. And I don't regret it one bit. It helped me massively with my confidence. But I did it because I was like a pancake. And unless I put on 4 stone, I was never going to have boobs. Right? Yeah. So I made that decision. And, but I went very natural. And I'm really, and I think, especially with the job I'm in now, that, you know, in sportswear and all that type of thing, I'm so grateful for that, because it massively helped me. So I think there's a very fine line with it. I'm not against it, but I think people go too obsessed with it. And I think it's important to ask the why. Why are you doing this? You know, keep asking the why. And a lot of it comes back down to things that we can work on in regards to self-love and self-worth. So yeah, I mean, I'm not against it, and I will probably do some more of these things in the future if I feel like I need to, but I'll also always ask why and try and still age gracefully. I mean, I want to have expression, you know, I don't want to have a crazy frozen forehead. I don't want to look like I'm 12 when I'm 40, you know, it just looks weird. Like when I have kids, I want them to see the expression on my face, you know, and I think more people need to embrace aging gracefully, but I'm not there yet. So we'll see how it goes.
You're beautiful. So what would be your best beauty tip?
Best beauty tip?
Like, you have to do one thing. What do you think we should be doing?
Oh God, there's a few.
Oh, you can name a few. I'm sure they're all welcome.
For me, reducing stress. You know, the removal of stress really does create health. That's a ginormous one for me. But also, I'd say, especially on the journey I've been recently, everybody can benefit from reducing sugar. I'm not saying go sugar-free, but that would, to blood sugar levels, to monitoring cortisol, to improving skin, to improving liver function, you know, everything that's going to help you on the inside is going to help you look better on the outside. Yeah.
And anything else?
Sleep.
Yes, so true. But when you have kids,
I know. Hard. So I'm trying to embrace the sleep I can have now.
Yeah, it's just the basics, isn't it? If you get the basics going, then it doesn't matter what injections and things you do. I think you get your sleep, your good food, your training, and your mindset. Exactly. Which is another thing I wanted to ask. Yeah. How do you work on your mindset? Do you believe in manifestation? How much do you incorporate mindfulness and meditation in your life and in your classes?
Yeah. So in my classes, I always add a little bit in. I don't do a ton, but I add a sprinkle at the start and at the end. And I think for my clients especially, I think that's a really nice balance for them, you know. I think if people want a lot of mindfulness and a lot of meditation, they will go to a different type of class, because most of my clients, you know, they love that. They see the benefit of that, but they also really want to work their body. With regards to meditation, I've never been the best meditator myself. I've struggled to be consistent with it. I've seemed to do a lot better, get better results, and also be more consistent with breath work. I love breath work, and I would recommend everybody do breath work. I think and there's so many different types. It's really is incredible. But I would say, you know, people seem to think that when you're meditating, you have to be sat on a cushion, cross-legged, humming, you know, with your mantra on. But that's not really the case. For some people, that's great and amazing for them. But for some people, it isn't the best thing. What's important is to be able to, every single day, to get into a flow state, right? You could be cooking. You could be doing Pilates. You could be in the gym. You could be walking down the beach side. Just doing something where you are truly present without distractions. You know, for me as well, walking. You know, we've just hiked at Christmas. We hiked to Machu Picchu. We did a 5-day hike, and we didn't have our phones for the whole thing. And that was pure medicine. So yeah, I think it doesn't matter how you do it, but getting into that flow state, becoming present every day. But yeah, I mean, I should probably meditate more, but I would say I'm still a very mindful person. And, you know, I've started recently, well, in the last 6 months, actually, every morning when I wake up, I make sure that I don't go on my phone. It doesn't sound a lot, but for about 20 minutes, right? So when I first wake up, I'm not on my phone. I will make a ginger tea straight away or a chamomile tea, whatever I have. And then I will go and sit in front of my red light, right? And I'll either do...
So that's your beauty tip.
That's another one. So I'll sit in front of my red light, infrared light. Yes, it's great for skin, but it's also great for energy, for rebalancing your circadian rhythm, to give energy to your mitochondria. I think that's how you say it, energy in your cells. But it also just feels like really nice, you know? And so I start my day with that. And in front of the infrared light, I'll either do breath work, listen to a mantra, depending on how I'm feeling, or I'll do face yoga, which actually is something else that I've started, which cool. I think is incredible to bring, you know, more circulation and boost the lymphatic system within the face. Mine used to be really sluggish. And since I've done face yoga, it really has improved actually. So yeah, that's only takes me 10, 15 minutes of a morning. And it's not a lot, but I've been able to be consistent with it. Whereas in the past when I was like, okay, I'm going to sit there and meditate for 15 to 20 minutes.
I think you have to find your kind of meditation.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas this with my routine, I've been able to sustain it and I enjoy it. So I would say that's my most mindful part of the day. Yeah. As well as when I'm teaching, because when I'm teaching, I'm in the zone. I can't be looking at my phone. Totally. I can't be thinking of anything else. You know, I don't even think. It just kind of comes.
Yeah. But I do think that like the phones is such a major issue, and including myself, I'm guilty of that myself, and it's something that I'm really working on. And I'm trying to do the same, that first thing in the morning, I don't take my phone to start scrolling or checking my emails, whatever, because I feel like otherwise the phone or the rest of the world is controlling my day. Yeah. Whereas I want to be in control of my morning, my day, and my focus. Otherwise, instantly my focus will be on these things. And if there's something negative, they will ruin my day. So I also feel it's such a difference when I don't do that. And I almost forget about it, even for longer periods now. Obviously, I have kids as well, so they keep me busy, but I feel so much better. And then I think it's such a small thing, but it will make such a huge difference.
You're 100% right. And what you said there, you actually put the nail on the head, because if you wake up straight away and you look at your phone and you have a million messages from other people about their issues, about this or that, you're straight away telling your body or telling your subconscious, their issues are more important than mine. Yeah. You're putting them first, you're putting yourself second, right? And not only that, is like you wake up, your eyes haven't woken up yet. You're still in the dark. And then all of a sudden you see this crazy blue light. Your brain thinks it's midday. It's 12 o'clock. Your circadian rhythm just goes out the window. So yeah.
Yeah, it's an important thing that everyone should try. So try it out. Really, it works.
And sleeping with airplane mode on, and ideally the phone away from the bed.
That I've been doing for a long time.
Good.
But another thing with meditation that I've been using lately, because I also, we say we struggle with time, and I'm not a person who meditates an hour. What I've been doing is a walking meditation. Because you can have a walking meditation in your earpods or whatever and walk. And also just walking without anything. No music, no phone. That's another thing that I was like, when was the last time I did that? I didn't even know, because we constantly, like you say, we're distracting ourselves, with music, with phone, with friends, with that. How much are we actually...
Too much stimulation.
To be alone or just with our thoughts or just in the nature is something so simple that we used to do, but because of the phones, we don't do that anymore. Now we have to incorporate meditation. It's crazy. But,
and we're lucky here because... we have the sea on our doorstep. I think one of the best things, and it sounds cliche and very simple, but is literally taking your shoes off, going barefoot on the beach and just sitting there, plunking your bum down and looking at the waves for like 5 minutes, getting a little bit of sun on your face and just breathing for 5 minutes. Yeah. It sounds cliche, but it's so grounding and it's so healing. Like when you got barefoot on the ground, on the sea, not on the sea, on the beach, if your energy is down, the Mother Earth will give you energy. It'll help to rebalance you. That's why you feel so much better. And when you're in nature, you're by the sea, you're taking in all the different energy from the ocean, the ground, the sun, it really does lift your vibration.
Yeah. So final question, because I could talk to you for hours.
I know.
But we have to do a volume 2. What advice would you give to a person who wants to move to Marbella and make it in the fitness, health world? Because it's not an easy place to do a career. No. How is it to really make money in this field? Because I know it's not an easy place to do it, because it's not Madrid, Barcelona is not a huge city, but there still is a clientele for that. So what is your best advice?
So there's kind of like 2 things I need to go in there. First, I would say you have to think of from a different perspective. Why would people want to come to me? What can I offer that's slightly different? What is your niche? Okay. If you don't know that, then how are they going to be able to answer that question, as in the people that you're aiming or targeting to? Because the market is so saturated. Not saying that you have to do anything crazy different, but you need to know your strengths. You need to know, your pros. So I'd say that's one thing. I would also say, in regards to living here and making it a full-time job, which can support you, because it's not cheap to live here. We need to make a certain amount to live out here, right? Is to not rely on gyms. Don't rely on studios. Don't rely on anyone else getting your clients. You have to create your own business and get your own clientele. And that's why I'm quite different to a lot of other instructors. A lot of other instructors, they go to another studio, say, can you give me a job? And they get an hourly wage. And in Spain, it's really terrible money, right? And straight away, I knew my goals. And also, I don't like taking orders from anyone. So I was like, I need to create my own business. It's hard graft. It really is. Like, you have to accept that for the first few years, you're going to have to really work hard. But if you manage to work hard and create your own clientele base and create your own business, rather than relying on getting paid an hourly wage from studios that give you their clients, it will set you up and help you so much more. Harder at the start, but you have to think past that and think about the long term. Like when I started, it was literally just me, a couple of mats on the beach, my phone or my speakerphone for a little bit of music.
You can just start with that.
Yeah, and you don't exactly. Yeah. And, you know, yes, now I have a studio and I have all the machines and but I didn't have that for years. For the first 3 years, it was just me, body weight, and a mat. You know, sometimes not even a mat. It was like a towel, you know. But if you're passionate and you put everything into it and you know what you're talking about, you know, you're really well, you know, you're qualified, then how can the universe not support you?
Yeah.
But I think you have to work hard.
Yeah, and you have to love what you do, because Millie's classes, I don't think you've done a ton of marketing and ads and things, but people have just come back because you're good. It's word of mouth, and that is the
word
best
of mouth
kind
is
of
really
advertising.
powerful here.
And in a fitness world, health world, it is very small, the community, so people will know your name if you're really good.
Yeah.
So just get really, really good, like Millie has become.
I would say as well.
And you're always educating yourself as well. You're always learning. You're always incorporating new things.
Yeah.
You don't get stuck like, oh, I did the Pasi training back in 2000. Now I'm just doing the same thing.
Oh my God, there's like 1,000,001 courses I still want to do. I think I'll still be doing courses when I'm 90, but I just love it. Like that education, that information just feels, you know, I'm a nerd. Like it really just gives me life. Like when I'm at home, I just read textbooks, but that's just me. But I would say another thing as well, utilize social media. I started posting about my Pilates, my clients on my stories from day dot. And, you know, we have to utilize the technological age that we're in, you know, and I don't do any ads, paid ads, you know, any marketing like that. Everything is word of mouth and social media, but social media is a powerful tool. And I would say at the start, people have a lack of confidence. They're scared of saying, I'm here, I'm doing this, but you have to get over that. You have to allow yourself to be seen, even if you feel nervous. Just feel the fear and just do it anyway. Just be confident with it, and, you know, put out the energy that you want to attract, and it will work.
Yeah, and you're a great example of that.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for coming and for your time, and for giving me a lot of how do I even say, maybe also body confidence, but also you've given me such a good mind-body connection that I'm so proud to tell everyone. It's not, and you know, I've had 2 kids, 2 pregnancies, and I haven't had a single back pain in my life. And I think all of my girlfriends and friends have suffered and still suffer with back pain. I'm like, go to Pilates.
But you know, you've been with me, you've been training with me now
since the beginning. Yeah.
There's a few that have been with me right from the start, and you really have been very consistent.
Yes, I've never stopped. I mean, I've always stopped only for the time when I've been pregnant or I couldn't come, but I've always come. It's true. And I don't go 5 days a week. No. I go once, maybe used to go twice a week. Yeah. And if there is a longer gap, it's fine. You just go back and you get back into it, and it still helps, you know? Exactly.
I think people need to take a note out of your book in regards to consistency. My clients that have, you know, had the best results, and it's the same old advice. They have just stuck to it in their routine. Yeah. You know, people that do it loads for 4 months and then they go off for 6 months and they come back for a month. Like, it doesn't work like that. No. You know, we need to move away from that all or nothing mindset and embrace and be patient with the fact that these long lasting changes take time. Like it took me years to build the muscle that I have now. And I still, you probably look at me and think like, she hasn't got loads of muscle, but it's not easy.
And it's individual, you know? As well.
So
whatever
individual.
Is, you know, your muscle mass is not going to be mine, and I get really easily muscles, and that's, you know, we are so different. So just embracing that and working with what you have. But anyway, thank you so much again. And you will find information about Millie's studio and about her social media as well, and of course about her favorite places to go. And before I let you go, have a tiny little present for my sustainable
thank you
clothing brand.
Oh, you just got a little panda. That is the cutest.
Yeah, because it's representing, like, you know, the yin and yang, the black and white. We have to find the balance.
The balance is what we've been talking about.
Exactly, because it's like sustainable, it's organic cotton, but we still have funky messages and fun stuff. And
what Pilates has taught us with the balance, right?
Exactly. So amazing. I hope you enjoy it. And
thank you so much. So cute. I love it.
The simplest things are the best.
Yes, exactly. Back to the basics, what we were talking about, right?
So anyway, thank you so much.
Mwah.
And we'll see you soon. Bye.
This episode is brought to you by Summer Mood, sustainable clothing that is comfy and chic. Visit the online shop summermood.com.